Hi, welcome back in where I ruffle people's feathers and piss in their Cheerios. Today we are going to be talking about one of the harsher areas that I prepare in. But if you are coming from my last video and you need to type in all black or like all long capital letters, she didn't do it. I really don't care because I talked about not one YouTuber, multiple. You can literally type it in a search engine, like right above my head. Just go in there and type in Snap shopping hauls, and you'll find a bunch of YouTubers that have 100 plus followers. I really don't care. And don't give me the backstory or like, you're not going to gaslight me on this one. Okay. Anywho. So let's go into those, ruffling feathers kind of motions today. Areas I prep in that might seem extreme to others, and I hope to God some of you guys prep in the same area. Because I'm hopefully weeded out at least a couple squishmallows on the last video. But in case you haven't been squishmallowed out, definitely, that unfollow button's there, or you can hit the follow and that like button because I'm just true to who I am every single day. So one of the areas that I prep in that would be maybe considered a little bit more extreme is I prep for terrorist attacks. I 100% think that we will see another one. If you want to look back on history, and I don't care if you call it a terrorist attack or if it wasn't a terrorist attack, blah, 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 blah. Okay. First of all, I constantly hear nothing's ever going to happen on our own soil, right? How many of you guys have heard that in the comment sections before? Well, Pearl Harbor did. And even though Japan wasn't classified as a terrorist act, they did bomb an entire naval station. I'm just throwing it out there. And then you have 9/11. And then since 9/11, now I'm going to get very passionate the way I talk about this. Why? Because I served overseas. My husband served overseas. We both drove convoy security overseas. He was a gunner. I was a driver. We transported terrorists. Oh my God, we transported people. A lot of bad people. Okay. And unfortunately, our country had a lot of borders left open. And no, I really don't care about so-and-so that came across the border illegally that's trying to start a better life. I got a lot of questions about the other people. And if that bothers people, I really don't care. Because I remember these lines said to me clear as day before we deployed. You fight this war over there so you don't have to fight a war over here. Well, there's a lot of things that have happened. In Utah, what was it, 2 days after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, they found explosive devices under a news van. They tied it to people who have an upside down flag and an ISIS flag on their front porch. And you see people carrying an ISIS flag on a lot of different protests. So yeah, that's one area I heavily prep it. And why would I heavily prep in this area? Because it will happen on our own soil. I truly, fully, 100% believe it. I already think that we're in a moral crisis. Sorry, I misspoke my words for a second. A moral crisis. But also our country and the world is in a crisis. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please go look at what's happening in the UK. It's very concerning. Their own flag is considered racist. Hymns, Christmas songs are considered racist. It's wild of where we are as a world. And so, yes, one of the very heavily areas we prepare for is a terror attack. We have our own situational agreements between us and different people of what to do when something like that happens. Not if, when. When. 9/11, for some of you that are way younger, may not be as emotional or relatable, or you remember when it happened, but a lot of us remember what happened. And it took a long time for people to be able to like walk down the street without looking over their shoulder. But it's not just a terrorist attack that I'm preparing for. It is all of the side attacks. And why do I say side attacks? Well, because I spent most of my deployment outside of the wire. So did my husband. An attack never happens in one go. Never does. It's not like we're just driving down, oh gosh, through the city of Hit and only one IED goes off. No. They always have another plan. RPG or this or that. And, I don't know what all I can say on this app. So you can pretty much add in all the additives in there. So yeah, that is one of the areas we heavily prep for. One area, that's probably extremely unorthodox is, body armor for children. That is something we are doing. We are doing body armor for kids. And both me and my husband have multiple sets of body armor. We have 4 safes in this house. We have one safe that's called the Run and Go. It's a run and go safe. And it is designed in the mind of a terrorist attack. Now, are all my safes designed pretty similar? Yes, I used to run a weapons vault. So if you're questioning if a girl knows what she's doing, yes, I do. And really, it's fine for you to question me. I'm cool with it. But all of our safes are designed as a run and go in an emergency. However, one of our safes are designed very heavily to run and go and bug. Because when one of these events happen, I really don't think it's going to be a singular situation. It's going to be a situation, and the times when these situations could happen is holidays, large gatherings, football games, all kinds of things. We try to avoid a lot of those heavily crowded areas. Now, if you haven't sissied out and hit that unsubscribe button and you're all emotional and in your emotions about it, let's continue on. So you've got one instance that occurs. I will call that B block. We'll call it a B block. Okay, a B block occurs. Well, what is the secondary thing that I am talking about? Well, open a book and read about it. Go to war, you'll find out about it, is they will try to disable emergency services, which means police, fire departments, my phone's going off with news articles, or let me move that down, EMTs, fire departments, police officers, anyone that's coming as a secondary form of help. Now, why would Doomsday Queen say this? Why would Crystal say this? Because I've seen it. Was driving a convoy. And imagine, I'm going to just throw the date out so that it makes sense to you guys. It was Christmas Eve. It seems pretty spot on. And over there, anything from Thanksgiving to about February is an extreme hot zone. They don't like us. And I don't care how many protests you go to thinking that people are going to like you. Different cultures definitely don't like different people. And seeing it happen, you guys just saw, there was a shooting in DC. 2 National Guard soldiers. Where was the guy from? Afghanistan. I don't need to write much more on the wall, but that is one area that I very heavily prep it. Do I have friends that are from the Middle East? Yes. And a lot of them have even come out and said very publicly, they don't like you guys. I don't know why people think that everybody likes us. It's okay for them not to like us. I mean, I don't really care if people like me or not. Don't bother me none. But this is one area that we do prep. So in this run and go safe, there is an extra set of body armor. There's about 4 of them. We are trying to get one made for my son that fits his size better. That's right there. And it's on the exit route to get to our vehicles to leave, to bug out, right? And in there is all completely preloaded magazines for all of our run and gun types of guns. I don't know what I can say on this app. Every app seems like you have to talk like a toddler, but I feel like this app, I should be okay to talk like an adult. However, also in that one has some NVGs and night vision scopes and silencers. And I'm not gonna with you guys. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Sorry, didn't mean to curse there. This is something that could possibly happen. That is one reason why we're prepping 2 different locations. Our country is out of control. Everybody hates each other. They hate each other because they're red, white, and blue, and green, and purple, and yellow, and magenta. And there's so much political tension in there. And then on top of it, there's all this other tension that's going on. I do truthfully believe a terror attack could be an SHTF. That could happen again. And if you guys are curious of like how I'm building the off-grid, I'll be very upfront with you guys. We're building it not as like just an off-grid cabin. We are actually building a community. We are building a community because this country is falling apart. And that may seem extreme in your eyes, and that may seem, I don't like that. She's saying the uncomfortable. There is lots of prepper communities all across the country where you can pay to get in and then live inside of one of those like-minded communities, okay? There's also cults. We have a long-running joke on TikTok that it's a cult. It's not, but we do drink Kool-Aid on Wednesdays. But out there, that is something we are developing for. Why? Why not for a cult? Jeez Louise, get out of here with that. But one of the reasons we are preparing the way we are preparing is look at what's happening in the UK. People no longer trust their government. I mean, we don't trust our government in general. I don't trust any government in general. But all of a sudden, flying your own flag is considered offensive. You can't do this. You can't do that. You've got what's going on in New York. Oh, don't get me started on that. DC, 2 soldiers shot. It's freaking horrible. That's horrible. That is absolutely horrible. And the only way that we can prepare for that is to prepare to start over. I know that sounds harsh and that's very extreme, but that is one of the reasons why we are solely focused right now on a water well and getting all those things out there and then starting the foundation. But at the same time, we are also starting tiny homes and Connex homes and those kind of things because we want a community. We want a community of like-minded individuals. The reason why we want that is everything's gone to crap. It really has. We are in very unprecedented times, and I do think a terror attack is very likely to happen. And unfortunately, there's going to be people out there that say, no, that's never going to happen. Nothing's ever going to happen. But that is one area I prepare for. And that is one area my husband prepares for very heavily. So when people ask me, how much Second Amendment should I prepare? And I always say the number is not met. It's unlimited, right? There's no quantitative number where I say, 1,000 rounds of this and you're going to be golden. You're going to be squared away and it's going to be a great day. No, I'm going to say go more, do more, get comfortable, start practicing breaking down your weapons and putting them back together, cleaning them. I mean, we've already developed a shooting range out at the property. We're working on actually adding a bunch more targets. Some of them are moving targets. Why is that important? Because if we are going to defend something that we truly think could possibly happen, and it's not just a terror attack. I mean, China has bought up every piece of farmland across the entire country. It could be a multitude of facets that come together simultaneously or separately that would enhance the destruction of our country, could make it completely teeter off. I mean, we're not far away from there. I mean, everybody was talking about preparing for civil war because so-and-so doesn't like so-and-so because they vote this way or vote that way. And personally, I don't really give a crap who you vote for because I don't pay your taxes and I don't pay your bills. That's your opinion. My opinion might be different, but you also don't pay my taxes and don't pay my bills. But people are allowed to have a difference of an opinion. Stop being so dang sensitive about it. Because when that time happens, and what I mean, like, there is sleeper cells in this country. It has been very openly talked about almost on every podcast. There is sleeper cells. There is things happening. I've already touched on it before, where there was the SIM card database on the East Coast, and there was hundreds of thousands of SIM cards. But then magically they didn't know who was doing it or what it was used for. Guys, all that screams is terror. Maybe a massive scamming situation, but for that many SIM cards, can only imagine how many mobile devices there are. But that's just me saying it because I got a little PTSD and I'm a little messed up from being over there. So you don't have to prepare for that. But if you don't, I sure as heck am. And so is my family. And it is my camera stopped because my memory card got full. But I prepare for it. My family prepares for it. Even if you don't prepare for it, that's okay. That's all on you. But I highly suggest you do. And I really suggest you do some research and maybe find out about what soldiers went through over there and how many secondary devices were used. Or, I mean, geez, on Christmas Eve, we got hit. It was 7 IEDs within the first few hours. We were stuck there. We were stuck for about going into Christmas Day. It was a while because they set up an ambush and it hit QRF that was coming out, hit their trucks. And then we had to have another section come out to try to help with that. It was a disaster. And at the time we moved a lot of weapons and we moved prisoners. So on those notes, I might be a little messed up. You might be a little messed up. We all prep for all kinds of different things, but I highly suggest you prep for terror attacks. And please let me know down in the comments below if I'm like not the only person that preps for this, or am I the only person that preps for this? I'm not quite sure. I have noticed a lot of other content creators talking about it, which made me happy because it is one area, like when me and my husband talk about this, we turn phones off. Phones go in our silent bags. And we talk about like down to the wire of like what we do and what the scenarios are and how to handle our kids and how to handle our community members and what's going to happen. And I know that seems very extreme, but it's not, because we live in a day and age where you can't talk about things. You're not allowed to have a freedom of speech. You're not allowed to have a freedom of opinion that is different than somebody else's. And AI monitors everything. So yeah, that is one area that we very much prep on. And we consider that one like, it's a big solid area. We prep for EMPs. We prep for grid down. We're planning to go completely off grid, but a lot of people don't realize like how in depth and catastrophic that could be. I mean, there is rumors right now that there could be T attacks throughout the country from here till Christmas. Avoid really heavily populated areas. That's my advice. Situational awareness, always have that. Always be aware. Second of all, if you're offended by small things, my channel is not for you. Okay? If you're offended by tiny things, I'm not the prepper for you. I'm going to tell you right now. I've had other major preppers on this platform take my videos, literally smash me down, and it don't offend me. It don't hurt me. We can all still laugh about it. Okay? It's not in cruel heart. But if you're so offended about every single thing I touch on, that's a you problem, not a me problem. Sorry. And honestly, because I do believe in good and evil, I'm going to say when I say I think that that's wrong. And if you're offended by it, then as always, stay aware, stay prepared, and always have your head on a swivel. I'll catch you on the next one.